guys, Prangell Gaming here. Welcome back to another Talk the Wall podcast. This is episode 7 and today it's just me as Taylor is again having a break. I believe he's on holiday at the moment, so he won't be featuring for next week. And talking of next week's podcast, there won't actually be one as there's a lot of stuff happening next week, family reasons that I can't actually make that podcast. I'm going to try and make the preview and the report for the Norwich video, but it might be quite hard as it's happening over the weekend, so I don't really know if I'm going to be able to do that. I'll try my best, but I can't promise anything. Anyway, you guys are stuck with me for this one again. It's the episode 7, so if you have missed any of the last 6 podcasts, go click the I button. There'll be a playlist where you can catch up with everything, or there'll be a link in the description of this video for the last Talk the Wall, so you can go and have a check of that. Now, I'm going to start this one with the loan watch for this week. Now, how did our loanees do out on loan? Well, Abdu actually did start, but he didn't have the best of games as his side, AFC Wimbledon, lost 2-0 to Fleetwood. And Fleetwood Town are one of only 4 sides that have won all 3 games in League One so far this season. As for Harry Gerlin, he still hasn't featured for Leatherhead FC as his side lost 2-0 to Harrow Borough. And I hate to say this, but while Harry Gerlin isn't playing, this is surely a waste of a loan. He has actually done nothing. I don't think I've actually ever seen him play for Leatherhead yet. Harry Smith is the next loanee, and he came on as a last-minute sub for Swindon in their 1-0 win over Morecambe. Smith, obviously with 1 minute left, didn't really have much time to make an impact, and he certainly didn't. And finally, Jamie Philpott played the full 90 for Woking and didn't score an assist in their 1-0 loss to Leyton Orient. Into the Millwall news around this week, and Ryan Tunnicliffe is still a couple of weeks away from being able to start a championship match. The midfielder obviously was a free agent after leaving Fulham this summer and has needed to get his match fitness up to scratch. Now, speaking of Tunnicliffe, he might actually feature against Reading tonight. It's hard to say. Harris may give him an opportunity to prove his fitness. Speaking of Neil Harris, he said that he will be incredibly shocked if Millwall don't make an impact in this season's championship season, as the club have the ability and have proven it in the early stages of the season. Despite the results, the Lions have played some quality football in this season and is convinced of Millwall's ability. Callum Butcher seems to be a player that could be on his way out, either on a transfer permanently out the club or a loan deal. Butcher hasn't featured in Harris's plans so far this season, and obviously with the signing of 2 new midfielders in Saville and Tunnicliffe, it's really evident to see that Harris doesn't need Butcher. He only played 13 times for him last season, and Harris has gone to say that Butcher doesn't really fit Harris's style for Millwall. And finally, with Neil Harris, on his final bit that he said, he praised Millwall on their performance against Bristol City, saying that if we play that way, the results will definitely come. He said he's frustrated obviously after the 4-3 loss to Ipswich, but when we're playing like the way we're playing, surely the results are going to come after a certain amount of games, and it just hasn't clicked properly up the top. Into your comments for this week, and only one person actually said something, and that was Joe Holloway. He said Saville is the best player I've ever seen at the Den. He's the kind of player that whenever he gets the ball you feel like something's going to happen. And I'm going to be honest, Joe, I completely agree with you here. Saville has been class. When we signed him, I was worried because I wasn't the biggest fan of him. Obviously, when he was on loan to us, I didn't think he was that great. But since arrival, all he's done is actually changed my opinion on him completely. I think that even though he's keeping Ben Thompson out of the team, he is much better than Thompson. But I do wish there's a way we could fit Thompson into the team. So maybe put Elliott up top on his own, as he's big enough to fit in the team and just be on a lone striker. He's quality. He's a big target man. We could definitely have him there. And then we could use Ben as the extra centre midfielder and go a 4-3-3. I know it's not very conventional for Millwall, but it is definitely worth a try. And this next section, I'll be highlighting 3 former players. The first is Martin Waghorn, who now plays for Ipswich. If you missed it against Ipswich when they beat us, go back and check that out. He really made an impact. And the second I'm going to be talking about is someone that only recently left, John Marquis, and then another player that only recently left a couple of seasons ago, Mark Beavers. So Martin Waghorn last week had a great week, scoring 3 goals in 2 games, and he did also inspire Brentford, or a win over Brentford in their 2-0 win on Saturday. As for John Marquis, he played the full 90 in Doncaster Rovers' 3-3 draw with Blackpool, managing to score one of the goals in this game. And finally, former Millwall defender Mark Beavers played the full 90 minutes and got booked in Bolton's 2-1 loss to Derby County on Saturday. Now, I know this has been a short, and I mean very short podcast. There's very little things I can do, and I can only apologise when there's only one of me and not Taylor. We can't argue stuff and talk back and confer our answers, so it's really hard. I've got as much content in as I can, and well, these two sections we have left, we have Where Are Wall, which I'll do last, and we have the two matches. And obviously one of the Mill matches that we actually didn't do so great in was the 4-3 loss to Ipswich at home. Yes, we started fantastically. Jed Wallace scored. I thought we was honestly going to do great. I missed that goal and the goal that they scored. Obviously they scored 4 minutes in, and then Waghorn tested the patience to score 2 goals in this game. Again, very frustrated, but Waghorn really did prove his worth. And Aidan O'Brien managed to get probably one of the scrappiest goals I've seen at the Den in a long time, before Tom Elliott came on to poke it into the back of the net. At the time, 3-3, thought that was game over, thought that was done, but then Spence's free kick beat Archer in a very frustrating game of football. I am gutted that we didn't at least take a point. We at least deserved a point. And the story was completely different for Mill's trip to Bristol, as we drew 0-0 with them, and Elliott almost saw a way in to get a late winner as his ball hit the woodwork. He actually managed to header into the post, which is a real shame. We should have got a chance, but again, it's wasteful chances that ensure the Lions are having a difficult time getting the right result. They're not scoring the goals they need. Wallace missed a couple, Morrison volleyed the ball over the bar, and overall Frank Fielding was superb again to stop the Lions from getting 3 points. As for where Millwall are in the league, in Where Are Wall, we sit 23rd in the league, which is not a representation of how well we've been playing. I'm pretty sure we should be much higher, and it's just we haven't been getting the right results, because the performance is there and so is the squad. But we will have to see. We've been one of the best sides in the league at the moment, but if we're not putting the ball away, then we're going to look poor on paper, and that's really where the cracks look like they are. We can't score the goals. So as I said, this is literally all for my podcast. It seems it's getting shorter week by week at the moment. I can only apologise. Next week I will have to try and see if I can add a load more sections just to make it a little bit longer for you guys. But at the moment it is a little thing that you can just pick up and listen to, not too long. So this is all that I've got for this week. Do feel free to put your comments down and let me know what you think. I want more comments down in there. I want to be able to talk about more of your guys' opinion. I know obviously Millwall, we're playing great football at the moment, but we're not getting the right results. Let me know how you feel about that. And also, if you want to send me an email, brandonprangell@gmail.com, with the subject header Talk the Wall. If there is anything we haven't talked about, I will add it into the podcast. So, like, comment, subscribe, and of course I will be seeing you guys whenever I next do, which will probably be a review video or a preview, one of the two, but I know for a fact I probably will struggle to get next week's podcast out. But until then, goodbye.
We are heroes tonight.